Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Hey everyone, I'm Agent Ghost and welcome to the Archives, and today I'm excited to bring you a classic, one of my first builds I ever covered, my one-shot, but I want to add, sometimes six-shot pistol build. It's super crazy and can be very efficient at getting the job done. Now without further ado, let's move on to the build breakdown. So starting things off with the specialization, I'm using the Technician specialization for access to the Artificer Hive skill and the extra skill tier it provides, and we'll go more into detail over our skills later on in the video. Now moving on to the weapons, I'm using the Nemesis Exotics Marksman Rifle. It is one of my favorite marksman rifles in the entire game, and I will leave a link down in the description below, a guide on how you can obtain this exotic because it's through a quest. Now, there are my core attribute and attributes if you want to pause, take a look at them, but that's what they're at. And I am mainly using this as the boss killer or the named enemy killer when I don't have full stacks built or things like that, or can help build stacks. And what it does is it has the talent Electromagnetic Accelerator, which shots fired deal 0 to 100% weapon damage based on how long the trigger is held before releasing. And I'll give an example of that after I go over the rest of the weapons. For my secondary, I'm using the Apartment named SMG. This is a Dark Zone exclusive, so you can only get this at the Dark Zone vendors, conflict caches, and name caches. So you can throw whatever SMG you want, but this is what I love to use for this build. I have damage targets out of cover rolled on mine, and there's the core attributes again, once again, if you want to pause. But I love this SMG for the talent Perfectly Measured, which the top half of the magazine has 20% rate of fire and the minus 27% damage. The bottom half of the magazine has minus 20% fire rate or rate of fire and 33% plus total weapon damage. So pretty self-explanatory. There are the mods if you want to pause to, if you're curious what I'm using, please do so and take a look. And then for the star of the show, the pistol that I'm using, and I'm using the D50, so I like to call it the Deagle, but because it hits really hard and it works really well with this build. Now there's the core attribute, and I have and the regular attribute, I have damage targets out of cover rolled on mine. I forgot to say this with SMG, but that is the highest multiplicative attribute in the game currently, which is why if you don't have one with this, damage to armor is a great alternative. And then for the talent, I've re-rolled Determined, which is essential for this build. And what Determined does is after killing an enemy with a headshot, the next shot landed on an enemy will be a guaranteed headshot. And in the mod, I have crit chance on the scope. But to show what that looks like real quick, hang on, let's just put it up to elite for now. Okay, so when I get a headshot kill, like so, now if I shoot at this enemy way down there, it will count as headshot, as a headshot. So I can get there, and then if I just shoot the enemy, it will count as a headshot damage. Unfortunately, if you don't kill the enemy, then you have to start the cycle all over again and get another kill for when the body shot lands as a headshot. But once you get the kill, like a full kill, one shot with the pistol, then it will, anywhere you aim and hit, it will count as a headshot. So it works great. But if you don't kill the enemy in one hit, you'll have to restart the cycle. And you can see like the target on my UI there filling up as I get headshots. So if I get another one, it's almost full. You want to basically kill 2 to 3 enemies to have max stacks, and then once you have max stacks, we'll go over that in a minute, but that's increasing our damage and part of the stacks for us to be able to one-shot enemies for the most part. But again, that's why I'm also using the sniper. The longer I hold the trigger or the mouse, if you're using mouse and keyboard, the more damage it will be. And there I can even just one-shot an elite enemy. If I don't have the stacks for headshots built up, it will take at least 1 stack, so I at least need to get 1 headshot prior. But as long as I do that with the named enemies, boom, you can see right there it's at 33 million damage with this build. So this works great for taking out like named enemies or higher tier enemies. And the SMG is just for close quarters. If people get in my face and say if my shield's on cooldown or I have to reload my pistol, this is just great to aim at the head because it's pretty stable, and then do a lot of damage. Just take care of enemies. But again, that goes into the disclaimer that I like to have for all my build videos. Please just use this as a base template and make any changes you see fit. Experiment and have fun just like I do. It's a great joy in the game. So yeah, any changes that you want, whether that's specialization, weapons, gear, or skills. And that's it for the disclaimer, but have fun. Now, it really doesn't matter which 2 you have here. It just matters that you have a pistol with determined and one that hits hard. Again, I use the D50, but you can use different types of magnums and such, and that could also work. Now, moving on to the gear, I'm using the Punch Drunk mask, Douglas and Harding mask, and I'm using it mainly for 2 reasons. The first one is the brand set bonus for Douglas and Harding is plus 20% pistol damage. And then the other is in the attributes, but first go over the core attribute. I have 170,000 re-rolled in mine for armor. You can get this in a regular weapon damage core, but the armor contributes to our shield, which we'll go on later in the video. Now, in the regular attribute, the other reason I'm using it is that it comes with plus 20% headshot damage. It always comes with a high, like double headshot damage bonus or attribute, so it really complements well in this build. And then I have plus 6% crit hit chance and a plus 10% headshot damage mod. Now moving on to the chest piece, I'm using the Chain Killer chest piece, which is the name Walker and Harris chest piece. In the brand set bonus for Walker's Harris, we get plus 5% weapon damage, which is really nice. It covers all our weapons. In the core attribute, I have plus 15% weapon damage, and in the regular attributes, I have 8.3% headshot damage, 8% weapon handling. It's to help with any of our weapons. It will help out with like the accuracy, stability, and reload time. So just makes it that much more accurate to land our headshots. You can re-roll that weapon handling to crit hit chance if you want, but that's why I have it there. 9.7% headshot damage mod. And then the reason why I'm using the Chain Killer chest piece is we get access to the talent Perfect Headhunter. After killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit within 30 seconds deals an additional 150% of that killing blow's damage, which already sounds insane, but it gets way more. And what happens next is damage is capped to 800% of your weapon damage. This is raised to 1,250, however, if your headshot damage is greater than 150%. So my headshot damage is, we're going to go over the complete stats later on, but I have over 200 headshot damage for my Nemesis marksman rifle, 158 for my SMG, and 208 for my pistol. Again, you only need that 150. I went overboard with it, but mainly because I just wanted to be stubborn and have the ability to get the headshot damage bonus for my SMG. Now, it only works for one shot when you have the bonus or all the stats of 1,250. So one shot might hit 1 million or 2 million damage, and then the rest will be the rest that you consistently have. But still, it's fun, and I wanted to be stubborn and get that. That's it for the chest piece. Now moving on to the backpack. For the exotic I'm using for my gear pieces, it is the Memento exotic backpack, my favorite exotic backpack in the entire game. And what the Memento does is one big part, or three big parts it helps with the build, is in the core attribute. It gives us one core like 3 out of 3 core attributes. So we get weapon damage, armor, and a skill tier, which is just already amazing. And then I have 5 expertise on mine. That's where that 5% armor is from. And then re-rolled a 10, or I put in the mod slot at plus 10% headshot damage mod. Now I'm using this for the talent Kill Confirmed, and if you've ever played Kill Confirmed like in Call of Duty or other game modes similar to it, this is what it does. Enemies, you have to pick up a trophy where you kill an enemy, just like those game modes. But here's what the talent does: is Kill Confirmed, enemies you kill drop a trophy on death. Collecting trophies provide both short and a long-term buff, the first of which scales with the numbers of core attributes equipped and last 10 seconds. So for each red core attribute, you get plus 5% weapon damage. For each blue attribute, you get plus 10% armor bonus. And for each skill here, you get plus 5% skill efficiency. Now, for the long-term buff, for every trophy collected, gain an additional 1% weapon damage, plus 1% skill efficiency, and plus 0.1% armor regen for 300 seconds. Maximum stack 30. So you can get gain an additional 30% weapon damage, 30% skill efficiency, and 3% armor regeneration, which just helps with our survivability that much more. This backpack's just insane. Now for the gloves, I'm using the contractor gloves. These are meta gloves. For in the regular attribute, you can get damage. You get damage to armor rolled in that as a guaranteed. But to go over the rest of the stats, in the Brandset bonus, it just gives us plus 10% LMG damage. We're not using that, so it doesn't help. In the core attribute, 14.3% weapon damage. In the regular attribute, 8% damage to armor. And I re-rolled the last attribute, plus 10% headshot damage. Just for that much more headshot damage. Now, for the knee guards, I'm using meta items. I'm using these meta knee guards, which is the Fox's Prayer Overlord Armaments knee guards, and the reason why they're meta is because in the regular attribute you get damaged targets out of cover. Now, the Brandset bonus, unless we're using rifles, which we're not, doesn't really apply. In the core attribute, I have plus 15% weapon damage. In the regular attribute, I have, again, what makes these meta is it comes with damage targets out of cover rolled. I have plus 8%, and then I re-rolled in the last attribute plus 10% headshot damage. Now, for the holster, I'm using the Picaro holster, again, another meta item, which gives us plus 10% skill haste, which helps our skills that much more. In the core attribute, 170,000 armor. In the regular attribute, I re-rolled us 8% headshot damage, and then in the final, it gives us plus 15% weapon damage, which is a red core. So that's why this this holster is meta, is because you can get 2 core attributes with it, which is just crazy. And if you get another Brazo piece, you can even get an extra skill tier, so get 3 in 1. Just nuts. That's it for the gear. Now moving on to the skills, and then we can go over the stats and final gameplay footage. So I'm using the Bulwark Ballistic Shield. This is the biggest shield in the game. I don't generally use this too often, but it works perfect for this build because it has the most health out of all the shields in the game. But the way they compensate for that is that you can only use a pistol with it, which works great with our pistol build. Again, I only have mine up to tier 5 because it counts skill tiers, which we have one from Technician once again, Memento Backpack, and Armor Cores. So skill tier cores and armor cores, which we have 3 from our gear pieces. If you want to get it maxed out, because tier 6 is the highest you can make it, then you can always put another armor core or skill tier in the build. But the shield will definitely outlast you. If like enemies get around you and around your shield, they will gun you down, but the shield at tier 5 still can take all the punishment and stay up. And to help with that staying up even at tier 5 is the Artificer Hive, which once again we get from the Technician specialization. And essentially you don't even have to throw this out, it just stays on your back, and when you have your shield out, there will be under the UI, which I'll show an example, that will charge, and once it's fully charged, it will basically heal a decent portion of your shield's health. So even as your shield is taking damage, this will regenerate its health and keep it up for pretty much as much punishment as it can take for the most part. If you are dealing with like 30 plus enemies, it might go down, but it can take a lot of punishment is my point. And to show that off is there, you see that purple spark, that means it that's the Artificer Hive regenerating my shield. Unfortunately it hasn't taken damage, so it didn't regen any, but if it had, it would have regened that. And there it is, that popped off again. But I do have skill haste enabled because I forgot to turn that off before the video, so it's not exactly that fast, but it's still actually pretty fast. It comes back, and the skill efficiency and everything else from the Memento helps it come back fast as well. Now that's it for everything with this, everyone. Now let's move on to the stats. So let's go over the pistol, because that's the star of the show. So I have 515,000 weapon damage for my pistol, 21% crit hit chance, 45% crit hit damage, 208 headshot damage. Again, all you need is 150%, so do not worry if you don't have this much, or if you have more, amazing. 8% armored damage to armor, and then damage targets rolled in the regular attribute. Once again, that's it for weapon stats. Now let's go to the offensive. So I have 87.3% all weapon damage bonus. We're not using any of these, and 46% pistol damage bonus. We've already gone over the gear talents and brand set bonuses, so here is the defensive, and then we'll move on to the final gameplay footage. So I have 1,268,000 armor. It says 1.3 there, but it rounds up to like the nearest 100,000, I believe. So that's the exact number if you're curious. 338,508 max health, and I just want to point out, this says 0, but when we have max memento stacks, it will be closer to like around 30,000 armor regen with memento stacks to help regenerate armor. It's not insane, but it helps when we're hiding behind our shield, and if we take hits, it will regenerate it, which is awesome. Now that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of the Halloween month. Please take care, be safe, and have a wonderful rest of your day/night. Bye.